Hello, and welcome to part 1 of a series of talks about the essence of storytelling given by Jeff Biancalana. Jeff is an accomplished story artist who has worked on films at DreamWorks Animation, such as Megamind, Rio, and Madagascar 3. Jeff's talk was part of a Green Ninja BAESI workshop titled Climate Change, Scientific Storytelling, and the Green Ninja. He led a group of middle and high school science teachers through the essential components of telling a story and then analyzed a number of short films to see how a structure of a good story is created and implemented. In part 1, Jeff introduces himself and describes how he got to where he is now. Please take a look at the video descriptions as we have included parts of Jeff's notes and links to the films that he is discussing.
It's great to be here, guys. Thanks for having me out. I've actually haven't necessarily taught a class like this before. I did teach animation here for several years while I was a grad student, and as Eugene said, I went to school here and came back for my master's, and I love San Jose State. I'm really happy to be here with you guys today. But this is a little bit different from what I'm used to talking about, and so I hope you guys don't mind. I'm gonna do a little kind of like reading and talking from my notes, so I don't miss a lot of stuff. I do want to just give you a little bit of background on me. I had an interesting childhood. I had an autistic sister. She was younger than me, and growing up she was obsessed with Disney films. We had a VCR, and she had about 150 videotapes, and she would watch them obsessively over and over again. I had a single mom who was just trying to get by, raising 2 kids, one who was severely handicapped, and so basically my sister had control of the TV because it kept her happy, and she would fixate on a movie like Pinocchio or Peter Pan or whatever it was that week, and she would watch it over and over and over and over. And as a result, if I wanted to watch TV, I watched these movies over and over and over again. And I really think that this was the beginnings of my getting into storytelling and the cinematic sense that I have. I think that watching these films over and over again, I was basically being taught how to make movies, and taught how cameras move, and how cutting works, and how pacing, composition, the characters acting, all these things were kind of being pounded into me. And strangely, as a result, even as an adult, I will fixate on a movie and watch it over and over and over again. I loved to draw growing up, as most kids do, but I wasn't very good at anything else, and I was fortunate that my mother encouraged me to pursue art. And I was even more fortunate that I ended up coming here to San Jose State, where I met Bunny Courtney, who run the now animation and illustration program. When I got here, it was just an illustration program, and even though I had longed to be involved with animation, they didn't have any classes for that, so I basically started studying illustration. Fortunately for me, just as I was about to graduate with a degree in illustration, they introduced the animation program, which I happily got into, extended my stay here by several years, but worked with some great people and was able to find employment in the animation industry. I worked for a long time right here in San Francisco. There used to be a lot of animation studios in San Francisco, and there's not much left in the city anymore. Did a lot of animation, character design, all kinds of things, even directed some stuff for a while. The goal was always to work in feature film, and it took me a long time, but I kept watching those movies over and over again, and I kept working my portfolio, and eventually was able to get a job as a story artist in feature animation. And that's really where my education for story kind of started. You know, if you have students who are interested in film, there are some things that I always recommend. I'm getting a little ahead of myself maybe, but while it's on my mind, the watching of films is obvious. People always ask me, you know, who want to do what I do, who want to work in story and feature films, what do I do? Well, watch movies, because that's what we're making. And they're everywhere. You can watch them on TV, you can get them on Netflix, you can watch them on YouTube. Just watch lots of film. It's the best way to learn, and I always recommend that you watch film with the sound turned off. You know, if you want to learn about cinematography, don't get sucked into the story. Turn the sound off and watch the film and pause it a lot and try to think about, like, why is the camera here? Why is he cutting right here? Why is the camera moving here? What does this shot mean? I really recommend that to all students. Turn off the sound and draw. It's amazing the things you'll see that if you're drawing something as opposed to just looking at something, to actually recreate an image, you will find details that you didn't know were there when you just look at it. I'm sure that all of you love to read and encourage your students to read. I think that was a big part of why I do what I do as well. I've read a lot of books. So I'd be watching all these movies with my sister, and then I would stay up till 5 in the morning every night reading books. I read garbage books, I read great books, I read anything I could get my hands on. And for me, the experience of reading and watching film is almost identical. It's very cinematic. When I'm reading a book, I am visualizing everything that's happening. I'm sure everyone visualizes to an extent, but for me, it's a movie. It's in letterbox, and there's cutting, and there's camera moves, and all kinds of stuff. Even if it's not described in the words I'm reading, that's how I see things. And for me, reading is almost like, it's like weightlifting for storyboard artists, because it's forcing you to visualize. You're taking information and you're creating images. You're building that muscle so that you can create storyboards. I did bring in some books today. These are books that I found very helpful. I have a book on my list that's called How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. And that's a great book for young students to learn fundamentals of drawing. I know that most of you probably aren't going to be able to invest in teaching kids how to draw. I'm sure that you have lots of stuff you need to cover in your classes. But I highly recommend that one. Unfortunately, I don't have it because I keep giving it away whenever I find a kid who wants to learn how to draw. I give it away, then I order another one. So I don't have it now to show to you. But I do have some other books here, cinematic storytelling, picture this, and you guys can look through these on break. These are great, couple of great books that show you how to compose for film. And like this one in particular is very simple. The author has broken things down into these nice graphic images and explains how these images can affect you emotionally, and then you can apply them to your own films. This one's uses photographs from movies and explains why the filmmaker did what they did. So really helpful if you're interested in getting into that. For more storytelling, this is a great book, really easy to read. Save the Cat. Just about everybody in Hollywood has read this book, and if you tell anybody in Hollywood that you've read this book, they will probably make fun of you because it's become kind of a joke now. Save the cat. But I actually find it to be very helpful. It breaks things down in a really great way of why we react emotionally to films. And I'm going to talk a lot about emotional reaction to films today, okay? So if I keep saying that word, bear with me. And then a little bit more technical, we've got Shot by Shot and the 5 C's. I've read both of them. I'm not as big a fan of Shot by Shot, but a lot of people do like it. My Bible for filmmaking would be the 5 C's of cinematography. And it's kind of a dry, boring book, but it really gives the cinematic fundamentals for anything you'll do with filmmaking. If you understand the concepts in this book, chances are your film might not be good, but it will be solid. It will work. It will work. No one will be able to fault you for your cinematography. So anyway, that's some good resource for you guys. This is how you make your audience go crazy. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
All right, because that's what you're trying to do. Like the whole point of making film is to get an emotional response from your audience. And this is a really good way to do it.